2016. And I am usually someone that doesn't like to jump into trends. And that's why I am oftentimes late to stuff. Because I am someone that looks at something stupid and I want nothing to do with it. But then maybe sometime later I think, okay, people were right, and here's how I feel. So I was one of those, oh, 2016 isn't that bad. You know, I understand there's a lot of issues with race riots, or not race riots, I don't like to use riots, but with racial tension, with police brutality, with Trump getting elected into office, with all of that, I thought, you know what, at least we had music like Solange, Beyonce, Chance the Rapper. At least we had a Tribe Called Quest releasing their album in. Why am I someone that does this? Every time I talk, I see a squirrel out of the corner, blah, 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 out of the corner of my eye. So I'm really the epitome of, oh, look, a squirrel type of people. You know, that's probably a part of ADHD as well, and it's not even to be funny. But damn it, squirrel, you got me fucking distracted. But what was I about to say? This has been a good year for Black music, but in terms of it being a year for fortunate events, it's been terrible. And it started off good because I went to see Logic in concert earlier this year, back in March for spring break. But even bad luck happened because our bus stops in the middle of heading to Indianapolis. So we have to wait for an hour, nearly an hour and 30 minutes until the gas starts running again, which I blame it on the bus driver because how can you not know that you don't have enough gas? And that's why I am worried about this trip Friday because I am going to Charlotte, North Carolina for Christmas to spend with my family. And I just hope to God that this pilot knows what he is doing because ever since that Brazilian plane crash, I thought to myself, this person better be competent. And I know that there's a 95% chance that I will survive, but that 5% chance can just get me because I just seem like one of those people that would just like be cursed. Be cursed. Also, 2016 of November just reinforced that November is a cursed month for me. It's been a cursed month since November of 2009 when I was publicly humiliated on Facebook, which was partly my fault because of a catfishing situation. But just November was not a good month for me. But back to the Logic situation, our bus stops. So I am late to the concert. And on top of that, I missed the VIP meeting of Logic because I bought the tickets just to meet Logic. But I realized that I didn't realize that the VIP meeting, the meet and greet and the Q&A session was at 4:30, hours before the concert. I thought we were going to meet Logic maybe 30 or 40 minutes prior to the concert, but we don't because, well, I missed him. So I have to just go on and try to be positive. But then I leave my phone in my cousin's car because she picked me up from the bus station. And what does she do? She doesn't turn back around and give me back my phone, which I thought that was selfish of her. Just because, like, you weren't that far away. For you to sit there and say, well, check your bag, you're telling me to check all these places when you could have simply just checked the back of your seat or checked the car to make sure that my coat was in the. I was trying to think to make sure that because my phone was in the coat. So obviously I didn't have my coat with me. Like she could have easily checked to see if the coat was still in the car. But she's like, no, I saw it on you. I said, just check. And then 5 minutes later she calls me and it's like, oh, like I found him. And I said, so can you turn back around? No, I'm all the way like on the interstate. Okay, you know what? So I had a great time, but I didn't have pictures to take to memorize the concert. So with that in mind, also I remember calling for my father because I needed to contact my phone, and they let me call him on the phone in like the little security station. This guy answers, and I said, Dad. He's like, no. Like, really? That was disrespectful. Like, I know this was a long time ago, but you could have at least said, oh no, sorry, you have the wrong number. Because I said, hello, hello. And I'm like, Dad? He's like, no, and hung up. Like, I fucking hate people. Anyway, 2016 has just not been a good year, at least gradually, because it's become progressively worse. And I am not really looking forward to 2017. I do want to take more initiative with my own life. I need to do better with my grades because it looks like I won't get my degree until fall because I have to take summer classes. Either that or I just have to take an extra class for fall and then get my bachelor's then. Because I didn't do so well this semester because I had transferred, but I'm going to get myself on track, and I'm taking this psychology class for the winter. There is this winter online session. So hopefully if I get a straight A, it would be considered a 4.0 GPA for the semester, and my GPA will be boosted up. You know, I'm pretty good at psychology. This should be easy, or hopefully easy. You know, it's complicated. It's not like I'm one of those, oh, psychology is so easy. It's not. It takes a lot of thinking. It requires a lot of cognitive thinking. You have to know what you are doing. You have to be sure of the diagnosis because this is writing intensive. We have to write reflection papers. But this is a more lax class. We're watching movies that have to do with psychological themes, and then we have to incorporate it into our reflective paper. So I wrote about 7 pages. I'm not sure how many pages because he never mentioned it, but I guess it's as long as we can go, because with psychology, anytime I'm writing a paper on medical stuff or anything like that, I can't just take like 2 paragraphs to do that. Of course not. Like, it takes me forever just to explain it, because when it comes to neurobiology, when it comes to biology in general, when it comes to medical, it's just so much that I have to explain so people can get it. Like, I am very verbose. I have to say everything verbatim. I have to get everything right. So that type of stuff I'm usually good at because I'm good at explaining of what it is. But like I said, I love to write, but I don't typically like the process of thinking and writing. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about what has happened for the past month and a half, the last few months, maybe. And I don't really have a lot to say because I can't really remember because I just had so much on my mind these past few days. The guy that I was talking to for nearly 6 months cut me off, blocked me on every form of social media over his own bullshit. And it could have been my fault as well because maybe I didn't handle a situation the way I should have. And we've had arguments before over this. But to tell you a little bit of background, he said back in September that he wasn't looking for a relationship. But this was the 4th time we hung out, and we fooled around, and it looked like we were getting close. And I thought, okay, maybe he could decide that I'm someone that he could have a relationship with. No, he said, I'm not looking for a relationship, but I'm really feeling you, and I just want to hang out with you. I still want to fuck with you, but I don't want a relationship right now. Right now. Key word. So I thought, okay, I don't really like the idea of doing stuff with someone or messing around with someone if we are not in a relationship. That's something that I don't feel comfortable with doing, especially when it comes to sex. With me, I feel you have to be with someone to have sex, at least for people like me. I don't like the idea of people feeling like I can have my cake and eat it, but then decide, oh, hey, I'm not going to pay for this cake, and I don't remember even ordering this cake in the first place, if that makes sense. So I was a little hurt, and it was a mild little argument, but it wasn't a big deal. We have a couple of arguments later because, one, he had told me that he hadn't talked to his ex in forever. I find out that he's been liking her pictures. He even sent her a message on her picture saying, what's your Snapchat? Supposedly jokingly, but still I felt that it was disrespectful because for him to not even like any pictures of mine, but he's following me on Twitter and Instagram, but yet he's liking all these other girls' pictures, like these, standard Instagram model pictures, but they're real girls from like the city, like around here. And to like his own ex photo that was very suspect. And you're probably wondering why I didn't see something wrong with that, because I am an ignorant person and I try to see the good in everyone because, Anne Frank's quote has followed me for years. So I am one of these people that feels like I need to give people a chance. I need to see the good in them. Even though I am someone that wants to call out someone's problematic behavior, in real life it's a little bit different. If I want to have healthy relationships with others, I feel there is a chance to grow and evolve with each person that you deal with. But anyway, we had an argument and we almost didn't talk to each other again because I kept going in on him about the fact that he was pretty much using me as a rebound, like a whole Bryson Tiller song. And we're Louisvillian people, okay? We're from Louisville. Well, I live in the city across the bridge, but he lives in Louisville. So basically, this must be a Louisville epidemic of let's fool around, let's sow our oats, and then realize that our ex is better. And if she thinks that you can't upgrade it, well, honestly, you had your chance to upgrade, but you didn't. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to be funny about the other girl because I don't know her. But how I feel is like, you know, I feel it's stupid to be someone that breaks up with your ex and then messes around with other people and think that we can't catch feelings from that and that we're not people to get our feelings hurt. This isn't a silly little R&B song. This isn't one of those songs where a stupid bitch wants to say that I can take your man, or you're a side chick, or I can do better than her, I'm better than her, because this isn't one of those vapid R&B songs. This is real life, and that's very hurtful to do these type of things to people. It's not funny. So that's why we had an argument. And then the third time, it was because I felt, I can't keep doing this if you're not going to answer your messages when I'm asking you a question, when I am asking, how are you doing, or trying to strike up a conversation. I was trying to strike up conversations with him, just trying to keep it going, keep the ball rolling. But he wasn't answering. And I understand you can't answer people all the time, but it would be like, hey, how are you doing? Okay, hey, this is what happened today. Like stuff like that, and he wasn't answering. And then it would be like, hey, do you want to hang out today? He didn't answer. And yeah, that should have told me, hey, this isn't a good guy. But I don't know. Like, he seemed sweet the first time we met, and he was like, you look so beautiful in your dress, and played with my natural hair when it was in like a little afro puff. He seemed so nice and just so cool. And I felt blah 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 blah. What the fuck? I felt that we were feeling the vibe, but I guess he didn't feel it. So finally, we just for real, we're not talking. He's blocking me on, like, I blocked him on Instagram first, and I guess he had an app that said that Kara unfollowed and blocked you. So he blocks me back, and then he blocks my number. Very sad. Maybe I shouldn't have gone off on him the way I did. Maybe I should have been a little bit fair. Because, like, he was like, I just want to be friends, but hey, I don't really want to have a relationship with you, and that's all we can ever be. And I thought, wow, for 5 months we do all of this, and then you wait till 2 weeks until the year is over to tell me this. Okay, just leave me in 2016. But on to more uplifting stuff. Kanye West is a trip. Just last week, there was a lot of controversy because he met with Trump, and honestly, that is the least problematic thing that he has done. And before, he said that if I were to vote, I would have voted for Trump. So then everyone now knows that Kanye West is problematic. He's a piece of shit. He's anti-black. He's a coon. Not the fact that when he had that motto walk, he was requesting for multiracial women only, which is code for light-skinned women of color with long hair. And now we just don't fuck with Kanye because now it's affecting all black people, not just black women. Now black men are affected because now he is preaching for the white man. Now that he's on the white man's dick and not the white woman's pussy, cis white women, now everyone is upset because, oh my God, this is for real. But even then, Kanye West was on some bullshit because he was hospitalized for exhaustion, and everyone immediately assumed that it was because he is mentally ill, which I believe he could be mentally ill is not something to rule out, but to equate the fact that he's misogynistic, bigoted, and a damn near homophobic piece of shit to mental illness is wrong. Now people are looking at it like, oh, so that's why Kanye has said those things about black women. That's why he said that mixed race comment and all of that, and thanking light skinned mixed women for colorism in hip hop. So that's why everyone, took the fact that Kanye West may be mentally ill and conflated that with being an asshole, being an abusive, bigoted piece of shit. And no, there's a difference between being mentally ill, having actual problems, and being someone who acts out because you feel entitled. Hell, I even watched One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and even though some of those men were mentally ill, they were acting that way not because they were sick, but because they felt angry or because they felt a type of way about Nurse Ratched, like acting a fool. And it had nothing to do with the fact that you're mentally ill. Sure, maybe how you react is influenced by the fact that you can't deal with things like other people can, and sometimes we act erratic, sometimes we even act irrationally, and we may be delirious. That's not something that doesn't happen, but I can tell a difference between someone who is acting this way because, okay, they are triggered, they have a mental illness, and someone who's just being an asshole. And that's Kanye. So I don't want to hear any of this whole, well, Kanye is sick, it's because of Donda, his mom is dead, because he still has people alive in his family and they are backing up his shit. And I feel like maybe Donda would have been on his shit if she were still alive today, but Kanye is a grown ass man, and he has been acting a fool even before Donda's death. He's been saying shit like, I need a Paris Hilton since 2001 in Slum Village. Oh, you have Nicki and I have Paris, which was the Kim Kardashian of the time. And by the way, speaking of Paris Hilton, RIP Zsa Zsa Gabor. I loved her ever since I saw her in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She was beautiful, just a lovely lady. When I saw her in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I knew she was playing herself because I thought, wow, what a very sweet, kind-hearted woman. Like this rich old white lady just inviting these black people into her house and just being so hospitable, offering them food. I love this bitch. I'm sorry. I just loved her. I loved her in Beverly Hills Cop 2 when she reenacts the whole slapping the cop. But you know what's sad? Maybe a few months ago, I was thinking, Zsa Zsa Gabor is the epitome of white privilege where she slaps a cop and gets away with it. Because if that was a black actress, if that was Eartha Kitt, but I love Zsa Zsa Gabor. She died at 99 years old. She lived a long, good life. Just a lovely woman. And she, I believe, was Paris Hilton's aunt, great aunt, I believe. So, you know. Yes, Zsa Zsa Gabor. Like, that's someone you should aspire to be. If you want to look up to any rich, ridiculously rich white person, don't look up to Donald Trump. Look up to Zsa Zsa Gabor. Like, Little Kim said it best. I'm on my Zsa Zsa Gabor, Demi Moore. God, I love that woman. Like, every time I saw her on screen, my face would just light up because she is a trip. She is funny. It's just a wonderful woman. And I believe I heard that she survived the Nazis, or her husband was a victim of Nazi Germany, because she is Hungarian, or was Hungarian. I'm speaking of her like she is still alive, but because I remember a couple years back she was suffering and thought, like, she suffered long enough. Maybe they should like take her off. And I didn't understand at the time. I was young. And this should bring me to this. No matter how old someone, if they are dying, you can't just let a person die. You can't say, well, they are old, they lived a long life, let's let them die. No, they tried their best to keep her alive, and as her husband said, she was slowly slipping away, and peacefully at that. So there was nothing more that they could do. They kept her alive as long as possible, because no matter how old you are, you deserve life. And I really just started appreciating life more, and it's just sad. But back to Kanye West. Kanye is a coon, and there's no getting around that. You know, he's always been this way. He's always worshipped whiteness. Don't blame the Kardashians. As much as I don't like the Kardashians, I find it ignorant for people to say that